How much time do you spend after a meeting just trying to prove what was actually decided? For most project managers, the meeting is only half the battle. The real work is the hour of administrative dread that follows. You've been there, scrolling through pages of messy notes, trying to remember the exact rationale for a budget shift, or manually drafting that high-stakes email to stakeholders. It's called the post-meeting hangover, and it's the biggest silent killer of PM productivity. But it's not just about the time you're losing, it's about the risk. When decisions aren't logged properly and risks aren't explicitly captured, projects start to drift. Today, we're looking at a solution that turns that entire hour of work into a 10-second automated process. We're deep diving into the Governance Gatekeeper, a custom Radiant shortcut designed specifically for PMs who need their documentation to be bulletproof. In our first deep dive into Radiant, we focused on the foundational power of the tool, specifically how its botless capture allows you to record meetings silently and securely, right on your Mac, without those intrusive digital guests. We explored how it goes beyond basic transcription to provide high-quality, local AI processing that keeps your data private while giving you instant access to what was said. That initial walkthrough showed us how to bridge the gap between a live conversation and a written record. But today is about taking that raw data and putting it through a professional filter. We're moving from what happened to what needs to be done, using the shortcut system to turn that recorded audio into structured project governance. In the world of project management, governance is everything. It's your paper trail. It's how you justify changes to scope, timeline, and budget. Usually creating a governance report is a manual, soul-crushing task. You have to triage action items, identify dependencies, and format everything into a readable state. The Governance Gatekeeper shortcut changes the game by using a specialized prompt that analyzes your transcript through a professional PM lens. Instead of a generic summary, it produces a structured, 6-part report that handles your most tedious tasks instantly. Let's look at how this actually works. Imagine we just finished a high-stakes sprint review. The conversation was fast-paced, covering everything from UI fixes to payment integration risks. As soon as the call ends, you activate the Governance Gatekeeper. The first thing it gives you is the executive summary. This isn't just a "we talked about this" blurb. It's a 3 to 5 sentence breakdown of the meeting's purpose, the core outcomes, and the critical red flags you as the PM need to watch. It's designed to give you instant situational awareness before you even look at the details. Next, it generates the decision log. This is perhaps the most important part of any project record. Radiant builds this as a clean markdown table. It assigns a decision ID, logs the owner, and, crucially, captures the rationale. But look at the impact column. The AI specifically calls out whether the decision impacts scope, timeline, budget, or risk. For example, if the team decided to pivot to an offline mode, the log might show scope increase and a slight timeline shift. Having this documented automatically means you never have to guess why a deadline moved 6 months later. Then we move into action items. We've talked about how Radiant drafts tasks, but the Gatekeeper shortcut takes it a step further. It formats them in a ticket-style title with a detailed context description, an accountable owner, and a suggested priority level. It even infers due dates based on the conversation. If Jason says he'll have the report ready by Friday, the shortcut sets the due date for you. These aren't just notes. They are ready-to-use entries for your project board. But a PM's job is also about looking ahead, which is why the 4th section, risks, issues, and dependencies, is so vital. The shortcut identifies potential blockers that were mentioned in passing. It categorizes them by severity, and most importantly, it recommends a mitigation step. If a duplicate webhook issue is mentioned, the Gatekeeper flags it as a medium severity risk and suggests a mitigation strategy before it can disrupt your payment processing. This is like having a junior PM working in the background, identifying fires before they start. Now, once the internal work is done, you usually have to tell the big boss or the clients what happened. This usually involves another 10 minutes of careful typing to ensure you sound professional but concise. The Gatekeeper handles this by drafting a stakeholder email. It's not a generic template. It pulls the specific key decisions and action items from this specific meeting and formats them into a friendly, professional update. All you have to do is review, copy, and hit send. Finally, the shortcut ends with a next meeting optimization checklist. This is a continuous improvement tool. The AI looks at how the meeting went. Maybe it ran long or the right people weren't there, and creates a custom checklist for your next sync. It might suggest time boxing agenda topics more tightly or ensuring the finance team is invited next time. It's a coach for your management style. Why is this so much better than manual note-taking? It comes down to quality and accuracy. When we take manual notes, we summarize based on what we think we heard. We'd lose the nuances. Radiant uses the actual transcript to pull direct rationale and context. When the governance gatekeeper says a decision was made because of unpredictable network conditions, it's because that was actually discussed. The quality of your documentation goes from good enough to audit ready. And for those of you working on sensitive projects, like the mobile app project in our example, remember that all of this is happening locally on your Mac. Your high-level strategy, your risk logs, and your stakeholder communications aren't being uploaded to a cloud server to be processed. Your project governance stays private. If you are a PM, your value isn't in how fast you can type or how well you can format a markdown table. Your value is in your ability to lead, decide, and mitigate risk. The Governance Gatekeeper shortcut allows you to spend your energy there, while the AI handles the documentation trail that keeps the project on the tracks. It's about being a gatekeeper of the project's success, not just a collector of its data. By automating the administrative fallout of your meetings, you ensure that every conversation leads to immediate, documented, and professional progress. No more lost action items, no more forgotten risks, and no more post-meeting burnout. This is how modern project managers stay in control of complex, moving parts without losing their minds. Check the link in the description to try out Radiant for free. Thanks for watching. See you next time.